Question number 36. A straight line plot showing the terminal PD, that is terminal potential difference V, of a cell as a function of current I drawn from it is shown in the figure. The internal resistance of the cell would be then option 1 2.8 ohms, option 2 1.4 ohms, option 3 1.2 ohms, option 4 0. This is the given diagram. Okay. Y axis you have got terminal PD, X axis you have got current, which is I ampere. The circuit consists of a battery and an external resistance. The battery or the cell has some internal resistance, and this is the answer for the question number 36 is option 1, that is 2.8 ohms. This is the explanation given in the official key. When I is 0, this is I. When I is 0, V equal to E. This is by definition. That is, when the cell does not deliver any current, whatever is the PD between the terminals, that is equal to EMF. So this is from the definition of EMF, right? That is, if you want, you can write like this. EMF is equal to V when the cell is not delivering any current. This is current. Okay, this is by definition. So I equal to 0, V is equal to E. And for this part, you are supposed to find internal resistance. So E is 5.6 volt. You see, when current I is 0, EMF is 5.6 volt. That is fine. Then for finding internal resistance, E by I. E 5.6 ohm. I, that means which current we have to take? Do you understand that? So what he has done for this step is simply slope of the line. In fact, magnitude of the slope of the straight line. That only will give you E by, that is this much. Y by X, you know, slope. Then this will be slope. So this is 5.6. This will be 2, right? So you are getting 2.8 ohm as the answer, right? But also you can understand it better from this circuit. See, this is the circuit meant here. Battery, internal resistance R, external resistance capital R, and there is a current I in the circuit. By using Ohm's law, please remember always the internal resistance, though inside the cell, for circuits and all, we will draw it outside the cell to be in series with the cell. So now I is equal to E by R plus R. Fine. Therefore, E is equal to IR plus I small r. But this one only terminal PD, that is PD across this external resistance here. So this is E, this is V, this is E plus I into R. Note that here this is constant for the given cell. Also small r is constant. Capital V and this I, these two are variables. So graph is drawn between the two variables. V on the y axis, I on the x axis. So you just rearrange this equation, you will get V is equal to E minus I into R. You compare it with the equation of a straight line. Y is equal to mx plus c. This is the equation of a straight line. And here also we will get a straight line. Why? Because the expression is of the form y is equal to mx plus c. Now here in place of y you got v. terminal PD as shown here. Okay, terminal PD. Then in place of x, m into x, m should be one constant, that is slope, plus c. C is the y-intercept, so this happens to be equal to c. Then you can see here I is another variable drawn in the x-axis. So x is equal to I. X is comparable to I. For this straight line, slope is negative. So negative slope. But magnitude of the slope will be, if you can take magnitude of the slope will be 5.6 by 2.0. 5.6 by 2.0, 2.8. That will be the internal resistance R. So in this graph, simply find the magnitude of the slope. Okay, so how this slope is negative and all, you might have already learnt, okay, in mathematics classes. So magnitude of the slope means you take this as, say, some alpha. Tan alpha, if you find, that will give you magnitude of the slope, which is equal to 2.8. That is internal resistance. Question number 37. A 10 meter long wire of uniform cross section and 20 ohm resistance is used in a potentiometer. The wire is connected in series with a battery of 5 volt along with an external resistance of 480 ohm given here. If an unknown EMF is balanced at 6 meter length of the wire, then the value of the unknown EMF is a given circuit. Unknown EMF is option 1 1.2 volt, option 2 1.02 volt, option 3 0.2 volt, option 4 0.12 volt. This is the solution given in the key. We know that I is equal to E by R plus R in this circuit. Okay, I is equal to, that is current in the potentiometer wire. I is equal to E by R plus R prime. R is this one according to this symbol. R is this 480 ohm. R prime is the resistance of the potentiometer wire, which is 20. So I is equal to E by R plus R prime, 5 by 480 plus 20, 5 by 500, which is 1 by 100, so 0.01 ampere. Current in this is 0.01 ampere. So what is the potential difference across this PQ? Here it is given Q, then P will be this. Okay, this is going to be P. This is Q, of course. So potential difference across PQ is I into RPQ. 0.01 is I, RPQ is 20 ohm given. See this given. So 0.2 volt is the PD across the entire length of the potentiometer wire. Is it okay? Then we will continue. If 10 meter potentiometer wire balances 0.2 volt. So the total length is 10 meter. What is the PD? 0.2 volt. So for 10 meter it is 0.2 volt. So for 1 meter it is 0.2 by 10. So this in fact is potential per unit length. If you want, you can call this as potential gradient. Potential gradient. That means potential drop of the potentiometer wire per unit length of it. So for 6 meter potentiometer wire, because this cell is balanced against 6 meter. So whatever is the PD between P and say you consider this point as J. PD between P and J is equal to EMF. So in fact this is VPG, PJ. Okay, that is EMF again by definition. So 1.2 by 10, 0.12 volt. So correct option 0.12 volt, option 4. Understood this? We'll have to be very careful. But of course, I'll just tell you one ready-made formula. Please remember, for problems of this type, what do you mean by saying problems of this type? Meaning, potentiometer, one cell with some resistance, and EMF E here. Here this is the driver cell, this is EMF E. Okay, now straight away the internal resistance is given by the formula. Internal resistance R is equal to E by, that is this 5 volt, I consider this as E naught just for difference sake. E naught by E naught into RPJ. RPJ, you consider it as say R prime. E naught into RPQ, RPQ, or you call it as say R prime, by R plus R prime into L by L. You can use this formula for problems of this type. What is E naught? EMF of the driving cell. This will be, oh, I'm sorry, now there is a ready-made formula to find this value of EMF. So E is equal to, let's say this is E naught, already I marked it here. Formula E naught into R prime. R prime means RPQ. RPQ, simply you take as R prime. R prime. R prime means potentiometer wire will have a resistance. That resistance, full resistance of the potentiometer wire, that is R prime here. Okay, then by R plus R prime. R is this resistance, because I am just explaining the symbols that come in the formula, into L by capital L. Okay, this is L. This is balancing length. This is full length. So if you substitute the values, you will get this correct answer. Let us check that. E naught into R prime. So 5 into R prime, it is given to be 20 ohm in the question. So 20 divided by R plus R prime, 480 plus 20 into the balancing length cell 6 by the total length of the potentiometer wire, that is 10. So 5 into 20, 100 divided by 480 plus 20, 500 into, this is 6 by 10. Is it clear? Okay. Then this will be 5 here. So 6 by 50, which is 12 by 100, which is nothing but 0.12, of course volt. So you can directly apply this formula here to get the final. This is 0.12 volt. So correct answer 0.12 volt. Is it clear? Yeah. See, correct option 4, that is 0.12 volt. Okay. Question number 38. The current sensitivity of a galvanometer increases by 20%. If its resistance also increases by 25%, the voltage sensitivity will, option 1 decrease by 1%, option 2 increased by 5%, option 3 increased by 10%, option 4 decreased by 4%. Okay, so current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity, this is the key given. Ig prime is current sensitivity after the changes are made. Okay, original current sensitivity is this. Current sensitivity of a galvanometer increases by 20% if its resistance also increases by 25%. So originally, if you take Ig current sensitivity, it has become Ig prime. That means it has increased by 20%, 20 by 100 into Ig. So this will be 120 by 100 into Ig, which is 1.2 Ig. So the new current sensitivity after the changes are made is 1.2 times original current sensitivity. I subscript G is being used here as current sensitivity. R prime, resistance also increases, no, 25%. So R prime is R plus 25 by 100 into R, which is nothing but 125 by 100 into R. So resistance is changed such that the current resistance is 1.25 times the old resistance. What is new voltage sensitivity is a question, because the voltage sensitivity will. That means you have to find out what is the percentage increase or decrease in voltage sensitivity. So voltage sensitivity after the changes are made is current sensitivity by new resistance. That is new current sensitivity by new resistance. This is by formula for voltage sensitivity. So Ig prime, you got it to be 1.2 Ig. R prime, you got it to be 1.25 R. Substitute here. Ig and R will be there. Ig and R here. So that means Ig by R here. Ig by R is nothing but Vg, original voltage sensitivity. This is nothing but 120 by 125, which is 24 by 25. So there is a small misprint. This has to be 24 by 25. That is, new voltage sensitivity will be 24 by 25 times old voltage sensitivity. But we want percentage change. So new voltage sensitivity minus original voltage sensitivity by original voltage sensitivity into 100. That's how we find percentage change. So substitute Vg prime, this much, minus Vg by Vg into 100. So here Vg, 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 so they can be cancelled. 24 by 25 minus 1, right? So 24 by 25 minus 1, which is nothing but 24 minus 25 by 25 into 100, which is minus 1 by 25 into 100, which will be 4%. The magnitude is 4%. The negative symbol indicates there is a decrease. Here it is given percentage change, but in the question it is precisely asking decrease, increase, like that. But the negative symbol will say it is decrease. Why? Because we took new voltage first and then old voltage here. Voltage means voltage sensitivity. I mean only voltage sensitivity. So new voltage sensitivity we took first. Then we took old voltage sensitivity by old voltage sensitivity into 100. So we got negative. It means there is a decrease. So correct option, decreases by 4%. Decreases by 4%. Okay? Decreases by 4%. Correct option is option 4. Got that? Question number 39. 3 infinitely long parallel straight current carrying wires A, B and C are kept at equal distances from each other as shown in the figure. The wire C experiences net force F. The net force on wire C when the current in wire A is reversed will be option 1 0, option 2 F by 2, option 3 F, option 4 2F. This is the given diagram. See, the official key is like this. Okay, he has explained all the steps here. Okay, this is the key steps given, right? But here this F1, force per unit length, F1 is force per unit length, not just F, between A and C. is given like this by the formula. But actually here instead of 4 pi there should be 2 pi. Here also instead of 4 there should be 2. Like that throughout. So we will do the whole explanations in a fresh way. Okay, we just go to the fresh method. Same thing, but we will start afresh. Okay, yes. Now this is the given diagram. So we are drawing the diagram new. 3 infinitely long parallel straight current carrying wires A, B and C. The length of each of them is infinity. Separation between A and B is R, between B and C is R. It is given here. A, B and C are kept at equal distances from each other. Between A and B R, between B and C R. Between A and C it is 2R. So we have to understand certain things from the diagram. Now we will see how to find out the net force on C in each case. In the first case, the currents are in the same direction, say like this. Okay, current here in this is 2I, in this is I, in this is also I. But general formula in the case of 2 infinitely long thin straight wires carrying current, force per unit length, not just to force per unit length, mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi r. That is, if it is like this, current here I1, current here I2, if they are separated, this is general case, then you can apply this formula. Force per unit length, this is force per unit length, general. Also, when the currents are in the same direction, there is force of attraction. Currents are in the opposite direction, there will be a force of repulsion. Now coming to this, between this B and C, the force per unit length, mu naught I1 I2, that is I and I, so I square, we have to use this formula, note that, by 2 pi r. This force is attraction, so like this, towards left, so I indicate here. Then force between A and C, this is force on C in fact, per unit length, again mu naught I1 I2, this time I and 2I, so 2I square by 2 pi, but distance between A and C, that is 2R, 2 pi into 2R. So this would be, you can cancel out this 2 and this 2, so mu naught I squared by 2 pi r, this is 2. Now you look at this, mu naught I squared by 2 pi r here, mu naught I squared by 2 pi r here. So numerically FBC and FAC are equal, right? But here net force will be, numerically you will have to add force per unit length, please remember. Is equal to F. They are in the same direction, so you can even simply say without this arrows above, FBC plus FAC, they are equal, that is equal to F. Because they are in the same direction, you can simply add them. Okay, or you can write this as F1 plus F1 is equal to F. they are equal, so I just call this as F1 just for simplicity's sake. Of course it will be equal to 2F1, but in the question he has given F, so I just call it as F. This is for case 1. Now case 2 you will have to consider, right? Case 2 is what? Same thing, but current in A is reversed. So 2I, these two it is same, I and I. Of course distances are here, this distance is 2R. Okay, now we will calculate the force on C, right? Case 2. For case 2, from this expression, FBC will remain same, okay? Because there is nothing changed between B and C. So mu naught I squared by 2 pi R. This force is towards left, because between these two currents are in the same direction, so they attract. But between A and C, okay, I just show here like this, the currents are in the opposite direction, okay, currents are in the opposite direction. Therefore there is a force of repulsion. So FBC mu naught I squared by 2 pi R on C we have to consider. So on C it is towards left. Similarly FAC we have to calculate. Same thing, mu naught I squared by 2 pi R, but this time there is a force of repulsion, so the C will try to go away. So this force is like this, but they are numerically equal, mu naught I squared by 2 pi R, mu naught I squared by 2 pi R. Therefore net force null. You will have to subtract. I told this is F1, we just took this as F1 just for simplicity's sake. This also is F1, so net force would be F1 minus F1 is 0. Why we have to subtract? The two vectors are in opposite direction. On C, due to B, it is towards left. On C, due to A, it will be towards right. But the magnitude of the forces are equal. We call them as F1, F1. So F1 minus F1 is 0 in the second case. But F1 plus F1 is equal to F in the first case. Therefore, the answer is 0. That is option 1. Question number 40. In a hydrogen atom, the electron moves in an orbit of radius 0.5 angstrom, making 10 revolutions per second. The magnetic moment associated with the orbital motion of the electron will be option 1, 2.512 into 10 to the power of minus 38 ampere meter squared. Option 2, 1.256 into 10 to the power of minus 38 ampere meter squared. Option 3, 0.628 into 10 to the power of minus 38 ampere meter square. Option 4, 0. This is the key. It is given radius of the orbit 0.5 angstrom, you can see here. So we have this formula for magnetic moment. Magnetic moment of a current carrying coil is area into current, where I is the current in the coil. But instead of the current carrying coil, we have orbiting electron, which can be compared to a current carrying coil, for which I is equal to Q by T. So this will be A into Q. T is 2 pi R by V, distance by speed. Okay, so instead of Q you can even write E, the electron here. V is the velocity, right? But instead of this T you can even write frequency. See this expression, this one you can write as m is equal to, that is this m is equal to a q as it is, but 1 by t you can write as frequency. By definition, this frequency is number of revolutions per second by definition. For a circulating particle, the frequency of circulation means how many revolutions are made by the particle in 1 second. So A into Q into nu, that is magnetic moment. So coming to this, A into A is pi r squared. This is only A. Instead of Q, you have E. This is frequency. Substitute the values. E 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Nu, the frequency, is 10 revolutions per second. So 10. Pi 3.14, r squared 0.5 into 0.5. But this is angstrom, 1 angstrom is 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. So here r squared, so 10 power minus 10, 10 to the power of minus 10. This when you simplify, you are getting 1.256 into 10 to the power of minus 38 ampere meter squared. So correct option is answer 2. But actually this is supposed to be what is known as Bohr magneton. Bohr magneton. That means magnetic moment of the hydrogen atom when the electron revolves, single electron revolves in the first orbit. Same as this. This is first orbit. Radius of the first orbit. So this is supposed to be one Bohr magneton by definition. What is one Bohr magneton? I just now said magnetic moment of the hydrogen atom when the electron is in the first orbit due to the orbital motion of the electron. Its value is actually 9.27 into 10 to the power of minus 24 joule per Tesla or ampere meter squared. Anything is okay. But the answer we are getting is totally different. 1.256 into 10 to the power of minus 38. That's because this value given here is not correct. But we are doing the problem according to the data given to us. Therefore, the correct answer is option 2. Okay.